whenever I see Damned's room, I just think, oh, I wish my room wasn't shit.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, but look at all this setup I'm having to do. God, hang on, wait for it. There we go.
Look, you've got like a glowy. I've just got a fridge and my high-vis coat.
Yeah,
I wear everywhere because it's the warmest and comfiest thing, and my wife hates it when I wear it because she's walking around.
That is so much. I'm a man closing in on 40, so I just have my work clothes on now, and it's high visibility shits. And then
it's great. It's
like
really
next
warm
step is just you have. The next step is you just have like the pants that you otherwise like lay floors on in and something.
That'd be see that. It's why I wear a dressing gown. It's like I've had a shower. That's it. Now I can do this, and then I can go to bed afterwards. Job done.
I remember the first time I saw monsters was in a cafeteria. We saw a shadow fall over the entire table as we sat there and talked, and then we looked up and we could see the mouth moving. But then the voice came around. It was so tall, the man, that the voice came after we could see him talking. The most powerful mandibles I've ever seen on a man.
Yeah.
Then we saw like, hey, I know you guys. And we almost fell over from our chairs from the sheer shockwave of it. Just like a butterfly effect, like the distance that voice traveled.
I was crazy. So nervous.
Tallest man I've ever seen.
I cracked my head on the top of the coffee thing because it was too low and I wasn't paying attention. I don't think anyone noticed. I think I got away with it.
It was a coffee sign for the factory across the streets he's talking about.
And that's the intro. Okay, cool.
That's the intro. What a good intro.
What is it to talk about? Someone. Well, what is it to talk about? I can't think. Monsters, can you think of anything? Oh, yeah, 4.1. That's what I was thinking of.
Let's talk about Total War 4.1. The glory.
The Grease Lightning update.
Is that what it was called? Oh yeah, the Greasus Lightning update. That was probably the best change and also completely unintentional.
Yep. Yeah. Classic Total War.
That was just weird.
What I love about this update was the fact that the headlines were the skill point reset, which people have been asking for since Warhammer 1.
And I'm almost certain it's been added with mods in every game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's nice that they've added it, but a little bit late. There's the Settlement and Siege update, which I think we'll circle back round to in a minute, but was, in my opinion, underwhelming. And finally, the third headline item was, I'm trying to roll the mouse wheel on the, and it's was the addition of new menu backgrounds from Warhammer 1 and 2.
Woo! Yeah!
I mean, what a hat trick! What?
And it was a real like Apollo Creed Rocky combo, wasn't it? Heavy hitters.
Yeah, it was crazy. Honestly.
Yeah. So I think those were probably the three most exciting bit. Well, no, the most exciting part was that Greasus obviously got a 5-point increase to his speed from 35 to 400.
Yes.
So obviously,
I have a clip of that. I'll put it on screen now. It's hilarious. It wasn't honestly. It didn't seem that fast. I think the internal speed has a cap because it didn't seem much faster than like 115 speed like Felbats.
You'll notice how he has like an acceleration. The funniest bit was like he'd start off a little bit slow and then just kind of like
it's so funny how
just be bombing along.
And then he gets to combat and just stops dead.
I tried to update it on stream, but like something went wrong with the updating as Total War sometimes. It's just Total War that this happens as well. So it took like 1.5 hours with me just ranting about stupid stuff because I wanted to see it. But then I saw clips afterwards, and I got in like a Cecil up to 300 speed, like potion of speed and like a bunch of other crap. And he felt so much faster, man. So you're probably on something there. Well, on something good there with it might be capped on land units or animation or something.
I think it's capped. I believe it's capped on animation. I think there's only there's only a certain speed that certain units can get up to. But obviously Greasus was at its maximum speed, and he was pretty nippy, to be fair. I mean, he had a good turn of speed there. He would bomb along.
He did drift a bit. Like you tell him to change direction, and just like, I'm trying my best.
Unfortunately, though, with collision damage stuff, that was not changed. So it was just like could catch up to people really quickly, but then it didn't do much once it was there.
Yeah, like when you get within like 10 feet of someone, it just slow down to his normal charge speed because charge speed is different than base speed, excuse me. So it just like, I'm coming in. And then just hit combat with all the force of a wet fart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
there wasn't enough
they also
memes,
changed.
though. There should have been more, in my opinion.
It was pretty
It was disappointing.
underwhelming.
There should have been Fast and Furious. You should have had Sonic, Mario Kart, all that kind of stuff.
Honestly, what they should have done instead of fixing him is just like make all the other fat guys give Grom like 600 speed. Give all the other fat guys on wheels massive speed just for like a meme patch.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of what was in the patch notes, what wasn't more, Thrones of Decay. What's happening, guys? It's coming out in December. It's coming. Winter 2023. It's coming.
Obviously, it's not coming out in December.
How
That's
dare you.
That's crazy talk.
I'm not coping, I swear.
I don't think there's been anything official, but
nothing has been said.
No, it's definitely not coming out in December. And frankly, it's kind of bollocks that they haven't gone. Yeah, it's been delayed.
Yeah, they really need to buy some. I don't know. They're kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Pardon the pun for their channel name. But if they release a statement saying it's been delayed, like fuck you, you're delaying it. But if they don't release a statement, it's like, well, why are you not telling us what's happening? They just can't win. Yeah. So probably the silence is the best thing.
They just need to be more honest with people. I think doing this corporate bullshit obviously isn't working for them, and they need to just get over it. And
I think they're gonna do a bad thing, and they're gonna try to like give some free units or something like that to try to get goodwill, and they're gonna label it as a Christmas present or like holidays or Festtag update or something like that. Like, oh yes, let's be happy and celebrate this. But in reality, it's just them trying to win, like goodwill because they just messed up so many times now for a couple of years.
Speaking of say I kept up the hits. Did you see the email that they sent? The big Steam Autumn sale. They originally sent out an email. I didn't see either of these because I think I just blocked them. I mean, no, I read everyone to law. Yeah, they sent out an email saying Forge the Chaos Dwarves 33% off, which should bring it down from like £20 to what's the third of like £16 or whatever. But instead they had to send a follow-up email saying, correction, it's only 20% off. Actually, we don't, we're not crazy. We're not giving this shit away. God.
At that point, they really should have gone, you know what, it was a mistake, but we're going to honor it just to try. They really need to get some of that goodwill. And I feel like just doing that would have made people go,
Out of interest, any reduction on Shadows of Change price? I don't actually check. I'm guessing not.
I don't know, but here's a fun fact. If you put like a discount of 15% or 19% or something like that, they don't send out emails. At 20%, everybody who has it wishlisted will have a email sent out. So like it's the minimum requirement to actually get like an actual email sent out.
I've just checked. Shadows of Change is also 20% off. So I mean, it's still like 20% higher than what it should be. But
so it brought it down back to normal price then.
Yeah.
Well, not even that really, if you ask me. But yeah.
It's been so weird because since I've been streaming a lot of Total War, a lot of people come in and ask me like, "Hey, do you recommend Warhammer 3?" And it really like gets you like. It's a weird question.
Yeah, like if I look at the game in vacuum and ignore Shadows of Change, yes, but take into account Shadows of Change pricing, like the ridiculous pricing to get into Total War Warhammer 3 if you have nothing, CA. It's just like all these things that make me really want to say no, which is a shame.
I mean, I would say one of the nice things about Total War is that you're effectively buying factions or lords rather than mechanics.
Yeah, like
so unlike
Paradox.
where in Stellaris, where if you're, you need to buy the Paragons DLC to get the leader changes, which you don't get otherwise. Whereas in Total War, if you buy the base Warhammer 3 game, I think I'm right in saying this, but you'll have things like Chaos Dwarves and all the lords that have been added. You just won't be able to play as them.
Yeah.
Which I think is...
like all the reworks for faction stuff like that has always been free.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is, in my opinion, if someone said, should I buy Warhammer 3? I would say, yeah, it's a good game. Some of Creative Assembly's business choices are not great, but, overall, yeah, I play it more than any other game, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, if you like that kind of thing, you probably will enjoy it.
Yeah. Basically, that's what I've said as well. Like, I don't like the latest DLCs. Champs of Chaos, I actually enjoy, but like the other ones are too expensive. Even Chaos Wars. Chaos Wars is good. They put everything in the kitchen sink into the actual faction, but there wasn't any updates or anything like that. Because the social contract have always been that you pay a little bit more, and then they actually give you,
Appreciate alongside the DLC.
Yeah, like a free DLC, rework, stuff like that. So the latest ones just have given you the least update and least impact on the map every single time. So it's just, I don't know, weird. Nobody, like Ulrika doesn't change the map so that much. She was the free hero with versus Chaos Dwarfs, and Acol doesn't change it either. So it was just weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like I felt like we got quite a lot of free content with Warhammer 1. I mean, we got an entire faction, right? Bretonia was a free faction.
Yeah.
And Warhammer 2, we got some good stuff. And then Warhammer 3, it's just been very... I don't think we've even got free lords and stuff, have we? It's basically been legendary heroes.
Be'lakor was the free lord because there was so much backlash for Realms of Chaos, and you would get Be'lakor whenever you won the Realm of Chaos campaign. But then, like, who gave a shit if you had him? You know, because you had already won it. So what are we going to do?
And also, you'd get him if you're playing like as Kislev.
Yeah, it was definitely weird. So that one's free, but yeah, not much since then. But can we talk about these like actual, because the patch was like, it was a patch. It didn't have anything significant, right?
Well, no, the siege stuff was very meh.
Yeah, the siege is mild. I play a little bit. I could hardly even notice some stuff, and then it was like, oh, they added so this towers could see stealth units, and like walls and stuff, and gates were way more sturdy as well. So I mean, like, that's cool. But other than that, it's like, unless you cheesed it a ton, you wouldn't really notice.
The problem is, I think all of the changes was to stop players. Effectively, it was all to stop players from doing things that cheese sieges. They didn't actually add anything that made them more fun. It just stopped players from being able to skip them, which can maybe do that after you make them fun.
Yeah, that's
rather than go, no, you cannot skip these. You're going to fucking play them.
Though the siege AI defending is better because they don't keep stuff in reserve. I've noticed anymore, like in the last checkpoint and stuff like that. So they will actually go out to you, so you can kill them easily and just win that shit. You don't have to like traverse the entire settlement just to murder them anymore, which is nice. It's a time saver.
On the other hand, I mean, part of the thing we were saying about was how they've linked the victory, like the victory location, to the key building, which is like your mini objective, and then you've got the victory location, which is the city capture point. How they've linked those, and how you have to link the key build. Is it key building to another victory location? So effectively, you need to take one victory location, then you can take the key building, and then you can take the victory plaza.
It's just the one leadership key building that you have to cap or zone to get like the actual one for tickets.
So they said they've done that so it can provide a bit better sort of fallback position for the siege battles. And I'm like, what's the point? Because the AI never falls back. It will just pile more units into you. And
that was just a corporal cop-ass talk. It was all just that people wouldn't like take over his Nargrunds at like tier 5 with stealth units. There was nothing about falling back. If you want to fall back, you would just stand there from the get-go. But you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about the financial reports, and I want to talk about the interview with Rob Bartholomew. That was an interview. Yeah,
I haven't heard about that.
Ooh.
God damn it!
Dish.
I am working with amateurs. No, I was kidding.
You knew this already.
To be fair, I did. I don't know.
I
forget the spaghetti every time.
Say the quiet part out loud, why don't you?
Yeah. I thought it was such an epic burn for CA, but then I completely forgot to say it. I was going to say, when they put it on 20% sale, I can't believe they didn't put it on 200% off. That's it.
So they pay you money to play it.
They fucking should. Tell you what.
Hold on, I'll get the interview to you.
This is all good stuff. This is staying in.
I will say that whenever I feel the slight inkling to defend Shadows of Change, I just remember how I felt when I saw the Ostankya final battle, and it dissipates immediately. The abject rage.
I don't know. Her mechanic was just so... It just took too long to spend that much like Forest Essence, whatever it was called. Like if you spent all that you could every single turn, it still will take you like 80 turns, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but...
Well, yeah, but I mean, my main issue was that like spending it was you having to go click, 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 click.
Yeah, you didn't have to do anything. You just spent
strain injury. Oh my god, Fred has sent us a link. Holy shit! I'm very excited about this.
Okay, so basically, I haven't checked the entire thing. I just did TLDR, but basically, Rob also said like Warhammer is dying off, and that pissed me off so much. So it's like, yeah, because that's what you do if you get like control of a company and you're trying to like make money for the company, and you go on to like and you just do business, right? You like expand the market and then you charge up the price when it doesn't grow anymore. It's just that they've just done like bad decision upon bad decision, and that's just made it like so then people aren't hype about it anymore. Because if you check like when they were actually building up hype, Warhammer 1 got like 18 updates or something like that, like in 18 or 19 months, which is like a lot. That's free DLC stuff as well. So it's like every other month or every 3 months, 2 months, and stuff like that. So it's just like a lot of updates. Of course, people are happy to just come back every 2 months or 3 months, and there's always something to talk about or something in the hype cycle, coming in. Something's done after like 1.5 months, the next one starts again. So people are always active in it. In Warhammer 2, it was like 22 updates during 4 years or something. So of course it's going to be dying down. People just get burnt out on every single cycle. You play it to the death, and then you wait. You play it to the death for like 2 months, and then you have 4 months or so, or like 6 more months just to wait for the next thing. And now they're just sitting on what they have made, which is people who are burnt out in the game that hasn't gotten enough updates, and they just update it less for more. And then they're like, well, people aren't that hype about it anymore. And it's just like, mad, I got angry about that.
But basically what you're saying is they've clubbed this horse to death, and now they're wondering why they're not winning the race?
They kicked the dead horse so much, they're effectively just kicking a dirt at this point.
Yeah, and then they're going, but it's not racing anymore, so therefore, it's the horse's fault.
Yeah. It's so weird.
I do remember watching, I can't remember what the channel's called now, but basically it's like some ex-Games Workshop people, and they had another ex-Games Workshop person on there talking about sort of like the history of Games Workshop, and they were saying there was a point where they were basically increasing prices because the number of customers they had was dropping.
Yeah.
But it was getting to a point where they were going to have to sell like a single Space Marine to a single customer for several million pounds before they would actually, and suddenly realise that was not a good way of doing it. And I can't help but feel that Creative Assembly just need to accept the fact that maybe they're just not going to make all the money in the world.
Yeah.
And if they make a really good game, they'll just keep making some money, and it may not be as much as it used to be, but it'll still be fine.
Well, it's just the classic infinite growth, isn't it? They saw how well Warhammer 2 did, and like, well, we need to beat that because downward graphs, they don't make the shareholders happy. We need upwards graphs. So if we're not selling as many games, and if we're not having as many players, then we just rinse the ones that we do have for more money per piece of content and make the content smaller. Price go up. Because
that was also something that I got like bothered with the profits report that they had, right? Because they were like, they made £8 million in profits, right? If you guys remember this one as well. And that report, if I remember correctly, was from before Pharaoh came out. So Pharaoh isn't calculated in that one even. So during that year, what have they released then and actually made money off of? Well, all Total War sales and Warhammer DLC. And they made £8 million. They had 900 people working for them. And how many people actually worked on Warhammer DLC, right? Like how many people actually works on the things that were making them profits?
Yeah, it's not a very big team, is it?
So that's when you start realizing that, for example, Paradox can have similarly priced stuff with a smaller player base and still have a custodian team as well, and it's no biggie. Well, from the outside at least, I don't know if it is actually a biggie for them, but it's like, why can't Total War have that? Why can't they just like give Total War a 10-person custodian team? Now, of course, they would never get a 10-person. It would be like 5-person or like 1 person in a closet or something.
It does sound like Total War, the Total War engine they're using at the moment is basically spiderwebs and dreams.
Yeah.
And I can't help but feel they kind of take it. Because, I mean, just adding something as simple as a respec button has taken, what? How long did Warhammer 1 release?
Yeah.
It's getting scary close to probably like 10 years, unironically. I think it's quite there, but it's close to that than 2 years.
So that they used the engine. The engine started being used in Napoleon was the first one, which was the first game they forced people to get Steam for. That's how long it's been. So that was in the whole cycle of the internet where people hated on Steam. That's how long it was ago. It was.
Yeah, I remember the memes for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I can't imagine not being with Steam now, though.
Yeah,
I'd literally rebuy games that I own on other platforms on Steam, so I can play them on the Steam Deck because it's just so seamless. It's very sad, but you know, that's life.
No, I'd honestly completely missed that interview, and that's going to be very interesting. I mean, the thing is, I don't think there's any one person you can probably blame at Creative Assembly apart from the executive management team, probably.
Yeah. No, I think like CA still has like really good talents and everything. Like it's just the executives.
He hates the glove. It freaks him out.
Where's your hand gone?
That thing, it's eating your hand. It has a mouth I can see. Why is your hand up that thing's ass?
I mean, I was just reading the link that you sent us, but the CA management are rather aware of the current Total War state, and apparently Warhammer is dying off. It's like, no, because it is, but it's because of what you did.
Yeah, it's because you guys did it to it. Like it's like you could have had it more thriving if you would have had a release. Like, I know it's weird. If they would have released twice the amount of DLC, people would check the Steam page and it's like not buy it because it would be like 50 DLC for it. It'd be like Train Simulator, right?
Yeah.
But still, would the community have been better off for it? Because I mean, The Sims, if you just buy like The Sims 3 and you want to just check the DLC, that's like that's something insane, like $800 or something. I don't know. I actually have to check now.
I think The Sims 4 has about. I think you're probably about right, about $800, £800 worth of DLC worth. Bill air quotes.
It does always surprise me if you look at some of the Paradox games and you look at Total War, how different the player counts are. Like Total War is immeasurably more popular than most Paradox games. Only Hearts of Iron comes anywhere. I think that Hearts of Iron beats some Total War games, but overall, things like Stellaris and what are other ones like Victoria? I mean, that's its own thing. But
Crusader Kings
are all lower than Total War games. And yet Paradox seems fine. Although, mind you, Paradox also did some layoffs as well, didn't they? So I guess can't
760 euros on sale.
Jesus Christ.
Right now.
The fuck? What's that for? For
all the Sims.
Yeah, for Sims 4. Sims 4 is free though.
Tell you what, EU.
So you can have the base game for free.
EU4.
That's how they get you.
Is about 200 players behind Warhammer 3. It's about to overtake it.
Really?
Oh, really? I didn't think it was that close.
I'll check if it's growing because Total War's definitely not.
No.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's probably going to overtake it because it's like had a big peak. I think a DLC released semi recently.
Is that EU4?
Yeah, I've never played it.
I did back when it released, and then I kind of lost it, and now the DLCs, there's too much. It's
There's that
Too
in
much
Hearts of
stuff to deal
Iron
with.
that I need to try, but I just so like I start with Hearts of Iron and instantly I just have a migraine. I just don't understand.
I streamed it for like 3 days of that, trying to learn this. And a friend of mine, Ludi at Historia, which is a big YouTuber for us, came in and like tried to backseat me, and he would be like, do this, do this, do this. And I was like, all right, I'll do that. And then like I conquered the Roman Empire within like 2 years, something like that. And then as soon as he's like, yeah, you're done now. And then as soon as he like stopped, I would just lose my entire navy. And he would be like, what did you do? I don't know. I wanted to see if I could do that, and I couldn't.
Poor Total War. So moving on from Total War.
Any other games come out?
Any other games? What? Yeah. What?
I can't think.
No.
There was something about a realm. Was it ruined?
Might have been.
It might have been. Yes. Another sad. Well, sad for me. Sad for the developers launch, I imagine. Realms of Ruin. It's reviewed positively. It's just got no players.
I think I don't know. I think the problem it's very multiplayer focused. And I don't want to say this like it's a bad thing, but it feels very Dawn of War 3. I'm surprised, to be honest, that my concern going into it after I'd sort of like played the full thing was that it was going to basically be another Dawn of War 3. But again, the reviews were actually very good. And everyone seems to be pretty positive about it. It's just that no one's actually playing it.
Yeah, the 4 people that have played it do like it. It's not quite Pharaoh levels of... Oh wait, no man, it's mixed. I think it like came out positive and then has just slowly been trickling down since.
From what I've heard from people who are very into multiplayer games, is that it lacked the actual depth of like of a really competitive game.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad, but if you have to market something that is already so niche as Age of Sigmar, then you might have problems, you know. Man, Age of Sigmar is so fun though to like talk to people while you play it, because it's always like, I hate Age of Sigmar, and then they will never talk about Age of Sigmar. They will only talk about how it killed fantasy. Yeah. It's really one of those things where you know that person doesn't treat their ex's new partner well at all. Like, you just know this.
In fairness, I think there's a certain portion of the fan base of Warhammer. I'm using both Old World and Age of Sigmar here, for who that was a scarring incident on theirs, because let's face it, Games Workshop did not do that well. They completely fucked that so badly. So I can totally understand how some people are still like reeling from it. Admittedly, yes, they probably should move on by now, but you know, I guess if you've got nothing else going on in your life, then maybe that's something to hold on to.
Age of Sigmar is like okay, but it's not as good as or fancy, I think. Definitely not.
The review that was by PC Gamer just pissed me off so much. So it was just it was just written by some guy that hates Age of Sigmar, which is fair enough. You can hate whatever you want. Well. But he was just like, oh, it doesn't have the Grimdark thing of Warhammer. It's like, yeah, because it's fucking Age of Sigmar. It's like me playing Dark Souls and being like, well, why is there not any like dragons and elves with shining gold armor? It's because it's not the fucking scene, you dipshit.
But mind you, there's plenty of Grimdark. If you've ever read, there's a novel called Gloomspite, and it's about the Gloomspite goblins. Read? Yeah, no, who does that? But it's so goblins, right? You know, goblins. They're the comedy characters, right? They're the fun guys. Not apparently fun guys. Not in Age of Sigmar, where they have this fucking moon that they follow around that basically turns people. It's like the Last of Us levels of mushroom infestation that basically turns people into mushrooms, makes mushrooms grow out of their skin and shit. Like, that shit is body horror levels.
Oh, that's what they do in that's Beast Slayer with Gotrek and Felix as well, where they actually just the Beastmen dig out like this giant herdstone that they just carry around, and people who come close to it will just like turn into Beastmen, which is what the spell Devolve is supposed to be like. It just turns them into Beastmen. So they have to stop that, and it's so grim that when Gotrek and Felix stand there, they're like, oh, how will we stop this? This little decrepit old man comes around like, hello, hey, you might be able to help you a little bit. and it's like totally not Kemmler in disguise. He's like, yes, this is grim. Because Kemmler's is always like doing shenanigans and defeats a lot of evil guys as well. Yes, for the same. Yeah, like he's just really hard to work with for anyone.
Well, I can imagine. Probably smells like wee most of the time.
Yeah.
No, and Total War just sits in his mountain and never speaks to anyone.
Yeah, good old meth Gandalf.
He does. Does he always invade? For me, every campaign, he goes for Marienburg and then kind of like crawls up the coast of the Empire for some reason. I'm like, mate, Bretonia's literally right there. You could.
Me, he just like tries to attack Marienburg, whoever it is that's right, like on his doorstep, and then just never gets further than that. He's like, I've taken my one settlement, I'm happy.
Either he actually managed to like invade some of Bretonia, or he just gets smattered at the start of it. That's the thing about evil factions. Everybody hates him, so they just bandy up against him, and he can't handle that because zombies and skeletons have really shit auto resolve.
They really do. It's such a shame.
But we've gone back to Total War.
Age of Sigmar is actually, I think, getting to be a good setting. Yeah. I just really disappointed. I didn't like this game. I really wanted to. I quite enjoyed the first 3 like campaign missions I played. I was like, okay, this is pretty good. Like the story, the characters were evocative. I thought the voice acting was brilliant.
I couldn't go over the fact that the Demetrius guy was just so obviously Sigrun's twink. Like, just seems stood next to each other, and she's just like, "Hello, Demetrius, what do we do?" And he's like, "Oh," with his bloody stick pegging around.
I love the bit where they're trying to go down a cliff or something. He's like, "I don't know how to get down here," and this guy with the wings just like goes behind him.
Please give me a lift, my lord.
And
that's all I took away from the story.
I kind of enjoyed it, but then it got like really like overwhelming. Not like really hard or anything like that. It was just that the AI will start with the same things as you do. They'll just have like 3 times the amount of units you have. And then somebody said that on the highest difficult setting, they just get like 4 times the amount of resources that you do. And I was like, oh, that's probably why, yeah.
Well, what I found was, and I can't remember which mission
it was. Story was cool though, so far.
Yeah, it was one of the Stormcast missions. I can't remember which one it is, but I think it's the one where you start off far away from your portal and you have to like fight back to it. And then it turns into a normal mission where basically you're playing a multiplayer match.
Yeah.
But what I found was every so often there was this soundbite where the Orc War Boss was saying something. And apparently that was just them getting more units. So more free units would just pour onto the map from random directions. Which when I was thinking, okay, I need to hold these points, and then suddenly more orcs were appearing in my in the south, I was like, where the fuck were they coming from? The answer was they were coming off from the side of the map.
Yeah,
I was like,
on that specific map is that they have like little caves that they'll come out from, so you can go around and destroy those first if you want to. But here's the kicker: if you destroy all those, they'll just use the bridge.
Yeah,
that is also off, that you can't like block off or anything like that. So they can just go off from 2 different sides.
Yeah, it was about that point where I just went, I can't be arsed with this.
Yeah, so, I think it was after that mission as well that I was like, no, wait, I did like a couple of missions more. But then I was like, nah. But that's one of my pet peeves right now with video games like that, and especially strategy games, where they'll have like a single player experience, and then they'll have like everybody comes in from one side, so you can't block that off because they also have like an emergency like invading point as well. And it's like, why are you balancing this single player mission in that like it's a multiplayer game? Like, why does like if you just want to win it, like if you win it like a lot, that's just going to be cooler. Like everybody likes Baldur's Gate 3 and it's unbalanced as all hell. It's not even that hard. And it's like, if you ever check like the best sieges in any Total War, it's like Thrones of Britannia, hands down, I'd say. And that has one mission, one map that sold it all for me. And it has like this mountain pass on one side, and then you can stand so high up that they will never be able to shoot you like in a million billion years, no matter what they have. You can just rain down fire. And I managed to actually like hold this fort with like 500 people versus like 3,000 dudes just from that like a passive thermal pile or whatever. And it was just the coolest shit ever. That wasn't balanced at all.
Yeah, it does open up for creating more like memorable moments when, oh, I managed to use this ridiculously overpowered spot, but it's in the game, so I can do it. You can't stop me.
But yeah,
I didn't get very far. I did the tower defense one where you're playing as a scene stopping Lord Ghostman.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that was a cool, unique mission type. Then the very next mission was just a basic skirmish. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm done. It's too many skirmishes. There's too much focus on it. Too much focus on the multiplayer.
Yeah, I don't like. You know what? If you want to throw multiplayer maps at me, okay, but don't then make it unfair. You know, if it's a multiplayer map, make it a multiplayer map. Don't make it a multiplayer map and then also give the AI a ton of shit.
Yeah, because you can't really make stuff competitive and then also give the other person a really big advantage because it just doesn't feel good.
No.
Yeah.
But
I think there were some more unique missions later on, but yeah, I kind of hit a patch of multiplayer maps and went, meh.
Yeah, I think I'm with you guys. I didn't really vibe with it. I think it's like, at its core, a decent game that's like deserves decent reviews. But dang, they should have worked a little bit more on certain aspects, I think.
It was very polished. And the thing was a bad game. I think it seems like a really polished game, and I didn't like it because it wasn't a game for me. That's my feeling. It was a game for multiplayer people, which is fine, right? Those people deserve their own mad bullshit, and that's great, and I'm glad they have it. That's not for me, and I get the feeling that it's one of those games where it's either, because I couldn't judge it, I couldn't say, oh, this is definitely a really good multiplayer game, because I've got no basis for that. I don't like playing against other people. So my worry was that it was not going to hit what that audience wanted, and I feel like the answer is it probably didn't.
No, it's I think I've said this multiple times, but it's not a good year to release a mediocre game, and that's what it was. It wasn't bad. It was just not amazing. And because it's not amazing, there's so many other games competing for people's money and attention, it's just not going to sell. One thing, though, that they fucking nailed, that photo mode. Oh, that is fantastic. I love that.
That was pretty good, yeah.
Making thumbnails for those videos, that's so much fun. Posing things
and
picking the right frame.
Like Army Painter, like the models were great.
Yeah, the
voice acting I liked.
Everything that isn't the gameplay was great. It also runs fabulously. It ran on Steam Deck pretty much perfect, like solid 40.
It's a beautiful game. It looks really like the map editor seems really good. Seemed very detailed. My main disappointment was the Conquest mode, which was going to be the single player sort of sandboxy type thing. Was one, just multiplayer maps, and two, the rewards were more icons and shit for your multiplayer stuff. I'm just like, I don't care about that.
Yeah, the Conquest is by far the biggest disappointment for me too. I was so upset because I was hoping for like a proper like galactic conquest from Empire at War, and what I got was planetary annihilation, where you just go between planets and nothing changes.
Yeah, because one of the best things about Dawn of War 2 was the fact that you could acquire items and equip them to your characters, and the fact that you've got these effectively like a command group, like you would have, but the only thing you can do to them is make them look different, which doesn't actually affect their skills or stats or anything really. All it does is just makes them look different, which is nice, but I don't really care.
Man. Are we just a group of people who like single player games sitting here discussing the latest multiplayer game?
A little bit.
Is this what we are now?
Yeah.
Right, so what do you guys think about the new Counter-Strike update?
I have not played Counter-Strike since 1.4 when they introduced shields, and I will not stand for that shenanigans.
I've never played it, so
I don't. No, it's not for me. I don't like
competitive stuff. 20 years ago, they added that. So I used to play it at LANs, when you still had like CRT monitors.
The only PvP game I've ever played and enjoyed is PlanetSide 2, which is a fucking great game.
Oh, that game's so badass, but I just could never be like, I couldn't get into it. It just takes too long to do anything.
You don't have to. You just be a medic and go and res people. It's great. I like being an engineer and just going fixing vehicles. I'm basically a mechanic with a shotgun.
You guys played
not very good.
If you played BattleBit Remastered,
No.
that shit is so funny. It's like it literally is the definition of war is heck because it's like it's basically like Roblox level graphics, but just the most intense warfare, and it's got open mic, so whenever anyone dies, you get to hear like 3 seconds of their scream, and it's normally just them like slurring at you or whatever, but it's just so goddamn funny. You just like drop in, and it's so just immediate chaos, and war is heck. That's all I can say. War is heck.
The last multiplayer game I played was probably Street Fighter 6. It was good.
That's on for the Game Awards, which we're gonna save for a different episode. So definitely want to talk about that. But it is up for one, I think. For multiplayer.
Wait, what?
I think Street Fighter 6 up for the multiplayer Game Awards.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I understand why. It's great. I used to be like a S-ranked Akuma in Street Fighter 4. Like years and years ago. I have like one of those fighting sticks and everything like that. So I was S- ranked, which was like pretty sweaty. But now Akuma hasn't been like a starter character for any of them, so I just haven't liked one of them. Instead, I started Ken. I was like, this is gonna be my Kenergy moments, and then just played that a ton and became like gold placement of like, well, that's cool. And then he just got ranked anxiety, I guess, and he just never played more.
Dark Horse, you and your fighting. I never. Oof.
I can play like the Injustice story modes and stuff, but I'm not real like multiplayer. No, people just transmit. My buddy's pretty into Street Fighter, and I think the highest he got was silver. And we went to EGX once, and they had the new Tekken that you could play early. And we walked up, 3 of us, and we're like, oh, there was one guy sat by himself just playing against the AI. We're like, oh, do you mind if we play? And he was like, yes, just didn't move. He wanted one of us to play against, so like, okay. My buddy was silver, he'll go, and he got absolutely trounced. This guy had no mercy, just like completely flawless comboed him. My friend was like, oh, well, Tekken's fun. They just sodded off.
Yeah, that dude was just practicing until the game release. 100%.
Man, it was brutal. No
all
mercy.
Day. So, what other games have we played?
What other multiplayer games are coming out?
What are them on?
See, Dota 2's got a lot of players. Fuck that game. Can't play it.
No, I tried that once. Hate it.
It takes too long.
I'm unfortunately a League of Legends player.
Heroes of the Storm is where it's at. Although I had 2 shit
Heroes of the Storm
yesterday.
was also good. But
it's coming to Steam, baby. It's going to get revived. I just know it.
Heroes of the Storm is like the casual MOBA, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's really fun, but it's definitely the casual MOBA.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We use it as our. Have you ever heard a game referred to as an after dinner mint? Like you play it pretty much at the end. It's just to relax and then just send yourself off to sleep. We were doing that for the last week, and we were just having some great fun. But then we just absolutely got arseholed yesterday afternoon. So that was.
What heroes do you play then?
Anyone, literally. We'll just like hop in. Normally we just try and do something stupid, like we'll all go basic attack, like get Butcher and Morales or something. But yeah, we played pretty much anyone. We've played it that much that when you can just play anyone sort of okay. So you just look for interesting stuff to do. We're just that good, I think
the nice thing about Heroes of the Storm is it's just so. There's just it's so much variety there, isn't there? And it never feels too much stress.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to be doing chill. Unless you're like actually AFK in base. You're always technically contributing, while you can kind of throw for your team if you don't help in any team fight. Especially on some certain shitty maps like Black Hearts Bay. Fuck that map.
Plus, other multiplayer games have gotten updates as well that we do play. Well, Vermintide we talked about last time though. Vermintide and Darktide, right? Did we?
Was there an update for Darktide recently?
Yes, the big one. We keep saying that we're going to play it together and then just don't.
No. There was another one. It was like something about Carnival or something.
I think there was a new map
Dark
added.
Carnival.
Oh, that's nice because the maps were getting quite samey.
My hand is so sweaty. I need to take this glove off.
It's very sweaty, isn't it?
It's like a welder's glove. Oh my god! Imagine how badass you'd look. Just sparks everywhere.
Well,
give it very hot.
Not there.
Anyway, games are actually relevant. We're like way too early into this to be rambling about stuff that's irrelevant to everyone that could be listening.
Has anyone tried the new Stellaris DLC, which is the Rifts one?
Yeah,
very, very little.
I did a video on it.
I would be interested to know what you guys think because I've got my own feelings, and my feelings were it's archaeological stuff, but different.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's not like crazy. It's not essential, but it's good. Sorry.
I thought it was very inconsequential fluff for too much money.
scathing.
No,
Like,
I'm with you on
$20,
that one.
wasn't it? €20.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's just more events. To be honest, it's just more. It's like archaeology, just in space. So they could have just added more archaeological events, and that would have been fine. To be honest, it just feels like it's not. It's to be honest. If someone said, "Do I need this DLC?" I'd be like, "No, you don't."
What do you think, however, of the free update that came alongside it?
I can never tell what's the free update and what's a DLC.
And I've got the notes somewhere for it. Give me a minute. Talk amongst yourselves. There we go. Right, so in the free content, we got that leader consolidation thing, which like kind of broke up the leaders into just 3 categories rather than being all mixed up, which is a really good change. And also like changed capacity to be per leader type, which is again great change.
I think Paragon, if someone said I want Stellaris, what DLC should I get? The first one to say is Paragons. Get Paragons. It is the best fucking DLC.
Or Utopia.
I think so.
Utopia is another one, but I would say Paragons is S tier. That's my hot take.
Let's see what the Steam reviews say. Mixed.
Well, Paragons just put in like the super leaders, didn't it?
Oh god, did it? I don't know. Maybe. I just thought it did the leaders thing.
It's
In
like
which
new
case, no,
council
fuck it. It doesn't matter.
mechanics, new dynamic leaders, the galactic heroes,
So the Galactic Heroes are the special ones. I
and
think
new traditions, civics.
the new traditions thing is nice because it means that you don't have the same 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think you can mix and match, so you have different options. Not that you couldn't get mods that did exactly the same thing anyway, but it's an option. But yeah, I think that whatever if it was a free update for the leader stuff, then yeah, no, I wouldn't worry about it. Just get base Stellaris, it would be fine, and Utopia because that's pretty good too.
Utopia, Megacorp, and Federation. I think.
Yeah, Federation is pretty clutch.
Because Megacorp also gives you the matter decompressor, art installation, interstellar assembly, strategic coordination center. But like the matter decompressor is really good, and also I like being able to become the Galactic Emperor.
But you forget how much shit is part of DLC.
No, wait, that's Federation.
Yeah.
I wonder what I should really just disable all DLC in Stellaris and just see what the game's like. Probably just like spawn in space, and it's like, well, you can take over a starbase, and that's probably about it.
Oh yeah, and Federations also gives you the mega shipyard, which is the best like mega structure in the entire game, hands down. Like being able to print out fleets when you're at a big war, like that is easily the best thing.
I still think war is I know that there is. Oh god, what's the DLC called? Which Apocalypse. That was supposed to be the war DLC, but wars are still shit, and I hate fighting wars in Stellaris. Just because I started a game when I got access to the DLC. Started off next to some aliens that hated my guts, which is fine because we only had one star lane in between us. So I built a star base there. They declared war on me. The war score was ticking up, but apparently I was getting more tired of the war than they were, so they were never going to win, despite the fact that they declared war on me and weren't doing anything about it. And I thought, well, this is bullshit.
It's because if you have that, if it's just based on passive, whatever, if they have like certain civics or if they're an AI or whatever, they just accumulate it slower, so they just automatically win if you don't beat them. It's kind of bullshit, but
that's why I hate it.
So I'm checking like the DLC now, and it's totally like just goes back to what you were saying. Like at least Total War gives you like just a faction or something like new. Like this is what you get, and otherwise it'll be in the game. It won't be like any mechanics or anything like that. Like
it's nothing.
Now that I'm checking the DLC, everything gives something that is really good, especially for like multiplayer or anything like that. Like everything, every single one of them just gives something that is good, except for maybe. Which one was this? That was before. Which one? First Contact. So the pack, I guess, doesn't give anything. I kind of like this because I managed to have like my illithid empire, just like disguise themselves as the other people, and it's like, well, join our glorious empire, and then they would turn into more illithids. So that was kind of cool. I like that one. But like other than that, it didn't really do anything. That was like the only cool parts. Like don't buy it for $15 just for that.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. but all of them like give you something that is like going to give you something good.
I feel like most games these days, it's like hard to recommend anything at full price because, well, A, the prices are just ridiculous, and B, like just general content quality's gone down. Like Baldur's Gate 3 is probably like the only exception I can think of. Didn't even go on a sale for the autumn sale. Absolute Chad behavior. Don't need it.
It's just like fucking bossing it out.
Sale?
Well, I think we are fairly cautious with giving recommendations because we have a lot of respect for people's money and people's hard work of actually getting that money. So recommendation is like, well, but like if I'm on a good day or something like that and just feeling like super happy, I'm just gonna go like, you know what? If you have money to spare, if you want to do that, just buy it. Because in the end, they're adults. They can be physically responsible if they want to. I don't give a shit really. But I won't maybe recommend everything. Not anymore though. I guess I've just turned bitter maybe with age is actually where this is going. I've just turned really bitter and just don't recommend stuff anymore. I haven't said just buy it if you have the cash for a long time now. Except for maybe Baldur's Gate.
Probably you recommend something and then someone comes along and goes, I played this and I thought it was shit and you're wrong. And you just go, oh, what's the fucking point?
That's the good thing about Steam though, because I always say like, well, if you're unsure, just buy it on Steam, then you can always return it in for 2 hours in 2 weeks.
That's true.
So then you're like, scot-free, baby!
But then, then you go and say something like Lamplighters League's really good and everyone else disagrees with you, so...
That's going to be
the truth.
Baby. Next big thing.
Oh,
okay.
I feel so sad. Did anyone play the Crusader Kings DLC? Because they're on a Paradox.
No, I did not for some reason. I always imagine every time somebody talks about the Crusader Kings, I just think about like the lead designer that just came in and just like saw that people who play it are mostly from Northern Europe. He's like coming in there with a Giga Chad song. He's like, Viking stories, Norse stories, and he's like doing that, and then he's like, why? And then he just goes away, and everybody else gets everything else, and they're like, well, we should probably do do something else than the Vikings, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was the Persia DLC.
Yeah, Persia DLC. Now.
Yeah. I don't know anything about that area, so I started off and I was like, I don't have a fucking clue what's going on or who any of these people are. And there's some bars going up and down, and I don't know what that means. And I kind of bumbled my way through it. I do like a bunch of the stuff that they've added since I last played, which was basically at Crusader Kings 3 launch, I think. But the Persia stuff is very much, I think it's one of those cases of, if you like Persia and you've got some basis, you'll probably be like, yeah, shit, this is my shit. Otherwise, you'll have no fucking clue what's going on or who any of these people are.
I swear we talked about this last episode.
No.
Yeah, we talked about it because I talked about
my
cannibal Santa witchcrafts.
See, that sounds interesting.
Tell me more.
All right, Monster, if you want to learn about that, you can look at the last episode because we 100%.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Tell you what.
Has anyone else played anything else?
Tell you what, Paradox Game did have an update. Victoria 3 had a big war update, and I was actually going to do a video on it, but my game literally just won't launch.
Oh no!
I got sent a key. Click launch, nothing. Messaged my Paradox. I was like, oh, have you restarted your computer? Excellent tech support, first of all. Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate that. I tried that. I completely reinstalled, just didn't know. It doesn't like me. So he was like, oh well, maybe next DLC next year. I was like, fair enough, bud.
Bloody hell. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Yes. I don't know, I'm out of ideas then.
Apparently, from what I've seen the chat about it, it's okay. It's the big war, the total war update, which can they do that? Sure, why not?
I don't think they trademark Total War. That's just
it's the totally war-y update.
Didn't they? Because that's why they changed names for everything. Because the first Total War was called Shogun Total War, and then they had to change everything to like Total War Shogun 2.
Anyway, if I look at the Total War 1 3 DLC, I can see a little TM maybe next to Total War.
Probably. I'm like in games like you couldn't say Total War Victoria, for example. It would have to be. But you could go, oh, this is the Total War update, because Total War is just a term for, focusing your economy on warfare.
I played the Stronghold Definite Edition as well, which is because I do Throwback Thursdays, and I I just go into more and more. A lot of old games were not balanced well at all. Like a lot of missions on hard in Stronghold Def Edition, like there's like you do it this way or you will lose, and you kind of have to trial and error your way into that because there's not like that strategy element is kind of missing. So you have to do it exactly like this. There's not a lot of like once you get you can finish it off almost any way you want, but you have to start off just like they want you to, basically, or you will lose.
Ugh. I don't like that.
A little bit.
I've never played Stronghold.
It's still fun though.
Is it
it's still
basically
good.
we are billions, or they are billions, but medieval?
Yeah.
They doth
yeah,
be
100%,
billions.
About 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. It 100% is, yeah.
Huh. Oh. Game was pretty good.
And then I also played the Invincible, which is a cool story walking game that apparently did really poorly, unfortunately. It was a really cool game, but fortunately didn't do too well.
Is it your Lamplighters League?
Well, no, because I don't have a lot of belief in games that aren't exceptional this year. I'm fairly positive next year will be shit gaming wise, like
but all
really
the companies
shit.
have just gutted all their staff.
Yeah. Like I think we're gonna have like a good first quarter, and then it's just gonna.
It's just gonna be like lowest common denominator games, just everything like live service. It's gonna be real hell.
Yes, that was also something. Actually, now you said live service. Yes, in the because we were talking about DLC and DLC prices and shit like this for Total War, and if they would have had like 50 DLC for it, would it have been at a better state now? If people like would go in and just like, dang, that's a lot of DLC. Would it have been at a better state? And here's my my thought about it, because in the profit margin as well, they said they want to focus more on live service stuff. Live service is incredibly ambiguous as a term. It doesn't mean like anything definite. And that's kind of the problem with it as well, because people go, I hate live service. I'm going to stab you now if you come too close. And it's like, so if they had like, say, 50 DLC for Warhammer 2 and 3 by now, they could have like a subscription model, right? And it would be like $5 a month, $10 a month, and you would have access to all those DLCs during that period. And people could just play for 2 months, pay $20, have access to 50 DLC, that would be it. Right? That's a live service model. Live service models usually just implicates that at some point you're gonna be paying them money, and they're gonna keep giving you content. And it's kind of weird that it's like people are like, I want more DLC that I can buy, but I do not want a live service model. So you kind of go like, all right, what then? And they're like, just do what you do, but faster.
And cheaper.
Yeah.
Yes. As much as I hate the idea of like a subscription, it does make sense. I don't really like it because of the current mood that I and everyone else has towards CA. Because like at the minute, if they launched it like today, they'd be launching it alongside nothing. So it'd be like, pay for this game that you can already buy. They need to launch it alongside like a really absolute banger DLC to make it work. But in the long run, if CA was not, in the top 10 most hated gaming companies of the world right now, I could see it being a good thing, because it'd probably actually mean that they could, not saying they will, but they could reduce the price of DLC to be more what they should be, because then they could like use the funding from the live service to fund the DLCs.
Yeah, but what we're saying here, isn't like statements for how it should be, but more like ponderings of what could have been or what is, basically, I guess. Because at a certain point they become to such a they just grow to such a size that it gets hard to navigate everything anyway, and I guess they had a lot of trouble navigating that as well. But they know at least now which is the worst path. Maybe, I don't know.
I think if they'd said like for $5.99 a month you get access to Total War 1, 2, and 3 plus all the DLCs, everything, you get access to literally everything, people might go, yeah, all right.
Yeah, give it a try.
Because people play it for like 2 months or something.
I did that with EU4. Is it EU4? EU3? Whichever one it is. I was like, oh, I want to play this game, but I can't. Or was it Crusader Kings 2 before 3 came out? Whichever one it was. Basically, I was like, I looked at the game, I was like, oh, I'm like 10 DLCs down. I don't want to buy all those DLCs. I'll just buy the subscription for a month and play it. And that was fine.
Yeah, it is a double-edged sword. I'm personally like very against that people don't own things anymore. Like I'm trying to buy weights. Like I have a lot of weights at home now because
we can tell.
Yeah, probably not anymore. But it's like you go and pay for your gym membership because I bought like just the 2 dumbbells that are adjustable. They're like £600 or something like that. Not like to lift, but like in currency for you guys.
£600 bicep kill, Fred.
They're 45 kilos each or something. But I did the calculations, and just in like 2 years or 2.5 years, something like that, I would actually, pay the same for those as I would for a gym membership. It's just that now I have those for longer than 2 years, hopefully. And then also if I calculate, for example, any other family member, and they also save on gym membership, it starts getting better and better.
Yeah, and then fuel and like everything else that goes with it.
Yeah, so I'm definitely like not. It would be a solution, but it wouldn't be a good solution to have that kind of subscription model as well for video games, I think.
Yeah, it is a tricky one, for sure. Like I've got Game Pass, and I kind of just like use it to play stuff that I'm like. I've been playing Texas Chainsaw on it primarily, and I've probably bought the game by now in Game Pass payments. But like it's at the same time, it's like, oh, Starfield came out, I could play that, and then I can play Skate 3. Can't play that anywhere else on my PC, really. It's just
it's like having access to a library, isn't it? Effectively,
yeah. Game Pass has a really good value,
but the library is a public service, and Game Pass is a service.
Yeah, I think Game Pass has a very good value because it's already got quite a large library of games, and it constantly cycles new things in and out. Whereas if you do something that is so specific for a single game, it's a little bit more questionable how valuable it is.
I actually used my Game Pass for the first time in like a year now to play Dungeons 4. Dungeons 4, I streamed through like most of the game, like up until the last mission. And then I got a key from the developers to stream. I was like, okay then. And I've been playing it off stream as well on Steam. So it's so good. I was like playing through it, and then I was like, yeah, this is, I just play it straight away. As soon as I like have any time left, I'm just going to start that up and just play it. It's so much fun, man. I enjoy the hell out of that game.
It's nice to have some time to play games that you're not going to actually do any content on, even though I feel really guilty when I'm not doing. If I'm playing games myself, it's just like, this is wasted time. But it's not.
You know what's even worse? When there's a game that you really, really enjoy that you used to make content on, but now it doesn't have the views, so there's no reason to actually play it. So you just feel resentment towards a really good game that you enjoyed.
Yeah, I always do that. I'm like, oh, I love this game. I'm going to make content out of it. And then the content inherently does not as good as Total War because it's my channel. I'm like, oh, I don't want to play this game anymore. I love.
I just do it anyway. I'm just like, fuck it, I don't care. Yeah. I'll play whatever the fuck I like.
Ain't nothing going to stop me playing Spider-Man 2.
Have you been enjoying that?
It's fabulous. How can I not?
Are you done yet?
No, not even close. I play it in like 20-minute segments. Like, my girlfriend like stop working. We'll do the showers, and then in the like 40 minutes between showering and eating dinner, I'll probably play some then, and then that's it.
Did you play the first Spider-Man for PS4?
Yep. Did
you even notice that the swinging is weird when you started this? Did you kind of like what was? Oh, I'm really like rusty doing this.
I haven't played Spider-Man 1 since like years. So
all right.
No,
well,
not really.
Anyway, there's like web swinging assistance that is turned on from the get-go on max, which means that you're always going to be like swinging in the middle of the streets. And the first one you would always swing off of buildings, but now you're just like going straight all the time, which like caught me off so much. I like going into stuff because I wasn't used to like not having an axis momentum as well.
I'm not sure how I feel about the wings, but people have just said just don't use them. And I'm like, oh, Yeah.
Yeah, they're okay, I think. It's like the Arkham games, but also web swinging.
Well, yeah, it's just like, I'm playing Spider-Man. Why would I want to glide around? I want to spin webs. It's like good for getting across the bridges and stuff, and like certain areas, it's nice to get like a big bit of speed to then go into a swing, but yeah, I don't like using it all the time.
I used to read the comic books. I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, give him a goddamn flying jetpack, and that still wouldn't be like the weirdest thing.
I mean, yeah, it's not about the accuracy, it's just about like the fun. Because it's like, it's more fun to swing around and do all sorts of stylish things. It's kind of like parkour. Yeah. Like in Assassin's Creed, you can run up the side of the building doing all these weird jumps and flip stuff, or you can like hit one of those things that rockets you up to the top. I'm like, well, sometimes I'd rather just go up the complicated and slow way because it looks cool and it makes me feel fun.
The really cool thing, though, that I really liked, have you tried fast travel?
No, obviously not
okay,
yet.
Well, fast travel anyway is literally 1.5 seconds. It is a technical marvel. It is so weird.
You feel that PS5 working overdrive. Like I've done a couple of the I've done one of the Mysterio missions in the city, and it's like just a ring, and you can see through it. You can walk around to the other side. There's nothing there, and then you go talk to the guy, enter the mission, and you walk through the ring into another room. And then when you walk out, you just turn around and it's gone. It's like, oh, that's just showing off. It just feels great.
They're using everything the PS5 can actually use. It's pretty cool, definitely. I want to talk more about this, but like when you're actually like had time to do this.
Yeah, get back to me
time. Nice. Like I streamed that one for like 3 days and 100%ed it, I think.
I'll probably go for the 100. Yeah. I think I did with the first one.
Because it was like 30 hours, I think. 32 hours to like 100% it. No, 20 something to actually do everything else. But man, Dungeons 4, you guys have to try it. It's great. It's like sitting at 89% now on Steam as well.
I remember my mum playing Dungeons 1, and she really enjoyed that. So,
oh, nice. I mean, I'm just missing Dungeon Keeper so much, man. I really do. I know that the Dungeon Keeper 1 had like a big source code update or whatever, like because they released the source code so people can actually just play it and like fix it up and it works on modern machines now and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool.
This is basically just like a Dungeon Keeper-esque.
It is literally a Dungeon Keeper, the spiritual successor on Dungeon Keeper. Because I remember like my stream title was even like, do you guys remember Dungeon Keeper? Well, the spiritual successor has had time for 4 now.
Very nice. I might have to check that because I did played a War for the Overworld, which was another that was acclaimed spiritual successor, but I don't think it ever nailed the right thing. And it also ran like shit on my PC back when I played it.
Yeah, all of these obviously aren't Dungeon Keeper. Dungeon Keeper did a lot of like really, really cool stuff that nobody ever replicates. Like just making like rooms in a special order. Like you would have like a graveyard, and then you would have a temple just in the corner. So it would be 5x5 or something like that. And then you would have like a special vampire or a dark angel that would be level 10 and stuff like that. That would be like really cool. And just small things like that just don't exist anymore. So obviously this is like for a newer audience that don't have as much patience for a lot of reasons. But it's still fun though. It's still like a good little game, I guess. I say little game. It's still $50. Just buy it if you want to throw away some money. It's fine if you just want to play for something.
No, I want this game now. You talked me into it.
Good.
I'm very susceptible.
Cool. It's on Game Pass as well. Try it for $1.
Yeah, that's true. I don't have to, but if I buy it on Steam, then I can not play on Steam Deck. I have the option.
True.
Trying to see what else I've been playing. I've been playing Satisfactory because that's a big 8.0 update. That game's good.
I love Satisfactory.
It's just so time consuming.
Yeah, I play that a lot with a dude from my community who's a mathematician by trade, and now like went over to doing AI models and stuff like that. And playing with him is like a nightmare, actually. Because he would just start, it's like, hey, do you think we should change this? And he would just start talking about like conveyor belt configuration. Like this machine spits it out in like 8 per second. So this one would be able to do it like that. And then we have 2 conveyor belts that, and we can split it off over here. So then we have another machine that does this and this and this. And it'd be like a math riddle in the middle of us trying to chill. And he would be like, I don't know, just do what you want best. Like, okay. We just go there, make some parking garage of efficiency.
It just itches that bit of the brain that's like, oh, well, you know, if you split this up perfectly, it'll be running at 100% efficiency with no waste. And I'm just like, oh, we can turn him on a little bit now.
Can you multiplayer
Satisfactory?
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know how complicated it is. I don't know if you need to like whip up the old
It's not
Hamachi.
complicated at all.
I don't remember playing Hamachi multiplayer games.
No.
Phew. What a time that was.
Remember GameSpy? Was it GameSpy? You had.
I don't know what GameSpy is.
Years and years ago. This is before Steam, so.
Okay, well, yeah, this is before I was born then.
Yeah.
I was like, age 10 years there. I was like, what the GameSpy is? Was like,
Grandpa, what's a GameSpy?
Back in the old day with Command and Conquer, Red Alert, and you're like, how are we going to play a multiplayer match? Oh, you need to get the old GameSpy.
It's a magazine demo disc.
Gotta boot up Skype or TeamSpeak or whatever it was.
You have to get the modem going, the old dial-up.
Remember the days before Discord when you had to call people on Skype? Ugh.
Fuck was that about? Jesus.
Me and my friend, like, I think Discord went down, and we were in the middle of playing something together, so like, right, I'll call you on Skype because I still have my account somewhere. And oh my god, like, first of all, it's so fucking complicated because Windows has just integrated it poorly. And then second of all, the audio quality is like you are talking from a bean tin that's being kicked down the road under a train. The sound quality is just so ass. But man, takes me back.
When I play with my friend Sky, like both of them had really shitty mics, and one of them like sat, you know, like so far away from the microphone that I would be like, "What did you say?" And he was like Mac's mother in It's Always Sunny.
But I remember in the old Xbox days, when my buddy first got his Xbox, he didn't have a mic, but he had a Kinect. So we would talk through the Kinect. So he would just shout at his TV and I would blare out of it. And so it'd be like 13-year-old me getting mad at Call of Duty and like screaming out of his TV in his living room.
That would do it.
Perfect.
So one of the games that was going to come out, I think fairly soon, but has now been put back, is Space Marine 2.
I didn't realize it had been delayed.
It was supposed to come out like third quarter or something like that, but now it's like later.
I want to say it's like much later. It's like
there was like some website that said I think it was February or March or something like that, but they were probably just guessing as well, honestly.
It's been delayed until the second half of 2024.
Oof, that is vague.
Very vague.
But you know, as Gabe said in that Half-Life documentary, which if you haven't watched it, highly recommend it. It's very interesting. Late is late. Bad is forever.
Isn't that what the Super Mario dude said as well?
It is paraphrased from... I think that someone actually did the work and tracked down who said it, and I don't think it was actually him. It was someone... It was like a journalist was quoting someone else.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Probably.
A rushed game is forever bad. That phrase. Yeah. Gabe used that in the doc.
It's a real shame because I've been playing Space Marine 1. I downloaded it and installed it, and I started playing it literally the other day, and then the next day after I'd started
it's you, Masters!
Right?
Anything you like.
Like, oh, this is really good. I wonder when we're going to get a better version. Looked at it when it's been delayed. Oh, fuck.
I've said it many times, but man, I know the shooting will be good for us, but I really hope the melee will be good as well. But the shooting, I'm really confident they're gonna nail.
I played the fuck out of that demo for the first one. The chainsaw was just so meaty.
I just love sometimes just thinking back on the Total Biscuits review of that game, where it's just like this unbridled glee. Basically, when he starts up and he's like, "Look at this! That's so cool! I have a Space Marine, smash!" That was just it's really good. I remember that. That was good. That's basically the feeling I got as well with RoboCop. It's like, "Look at this! I was gonna shoot you in the head. Hey, the head! Groin shot! Groin shot! Groin shot!"
The duality of man: the headshot or the groin shot.
I feel like people forget that game is supposed to be fun. And every now and then you just get one that just hits that spot.
Yeah.
The only problem with Space Marine is that it's Space Marine and not Fire Warrior 2, because Fire Warrior was the best.
That game was shit, though.
It was amazing.
It was a mess. It was so bad, man.
Awesome.
What are you talking about?
I fucking
play the same game.
So good. Oh, you didn't have to play as a Space Marine either, because Space Marines fucking suck. At least let's play something interesting like an Orc or something.
So it's like a mod of Battlefront 2.
Man, you should really go back and play it. It's on GOG. It's probably on sale now. You should just get it.
Don't go back and play it. It's awful. It's fucking atrocious.
Hey, if it's £1.29, that's kind of out of my budget. Yeah, if it is just Battlefront 2, then I'll love that because oh my god, I love Star Wars Battlefront 2. That is like one of my top games of all time.
From Fire Warrior was
it's good.
All the weapons were so badly balanced. They were just trash.
Man, Battlefront 2, like the new one, though, they had such a redemption arc. Jesus, it was so good at the end as well. But everybody hated it at first, and like it kind of got into like the mindset, like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to hate that game. But then they removed like the loot boxes, removed the like really weird grinding, and it just became like such a good game. And then they ended it just before The Mandalorian became a hit as well. I just remember it was just so weird. And anyway, that game was liked, and some people. I'm just gonna pitch this out there again, because maybe somebody will see this and be like, "Yes, I'm gonna echo that sentiment as well." The Battlefront 2 plus Warhammer 40k.
Yeah,
because they already have so much stuff in it that is like 40k, and it would work so well. I do not understand why they don't make that. Like, you could just like spawn in as a Space Marine instead of Darth Vader, you know?
That'd be so fucking scary.
Yeah, and you still have
a
like
normal guy shooting at someone, and a Space Marine just walks around the corner.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you're just standing there as a normal like a dude, and you're shooting, and then like General Grievous is like does his cockroach run at you, and you're like, and he's like.
I definitely put more hours into the PS2 version, but yeah, I did come back and play just calling games the same name. It's so hard. The new version. Yeah, it's it definitely had a bit of redemption out, but still, that can't be the classics, man.
Speaking of General Grievous,
if you take out all the weird corporate bullshit, people actually enjoy games.
Yeah, it's weird.
Got that.
Also, I've got to mention that General Grievous is one of the funniest characters in Star Wars, because he says, "Count Dooku has taught me everything about your lightsaber arts." Makes his hands 2 windmills.
I mean, he's apparently a good teacher.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Did you ever see the edit that someone did of the Rise of Skywalker for General Grievous chasing Kylo Ren's lightsaber into the water?
No,
First of all, dog shit film, but that meme was top tier. I'll see if I can find it. I think it's like top.
Revenge of the Sith would be a dog shit movie.
Oh, Revenge of the Sith is hilarious.
It's like the best Star Wars movie. I will die on this hill.
And right there we go. I've got a link. I'll somehow put this in the video.
A fine addition to my collection.
I can't bother presenting it like Fred did. It's too much work.
Pretty cool. I'm going to look at that. I do. I quite enjoyed the Star Wars film. I mean, admittedly, the last one was complete bullshit.
Yeah.
I fucking hate them so much.
Yeah, the last one is definitely the worst one.
Okay. What I don't understand, right, is that they were searching for the MacGuffin that allowed them to go to the planet where the Death Star crashed, and then do like some weird Tomb Raider bullshit to find the map. They were looking for the map.
I blame corporatism in all this, because there were so many like changes
based on the reaction to The Last Jedi.
Well, even before that as well. Like, you can go and check like movie posters for Star Wars, and then you check like same movie posters but in China.
Oh yeah.
And then you're gonna see like oh yeah, that's why that person didn't get any developments. I'm not gonna say anything else. You guys can just Google that and see like if you notice anything different.
Yeah, no, I did see that one. Yeah.
And it's just like they have to sell the movie there, they have to sell the movie there, they have to do this, and then like there's a backlash, they just go back to it. And somebody has said it so well that the first movies, the first, like 4 to 6, those are based on like old samurai movies and westerns, and it's based on the big war, the Vietnam War, and things like that. It has a lot of undertones, and it's got a lot of inspirations. And the second one is like, the fall from grace, and it's got like high sci-fi, and it's still like the samurai movies and like the big revenge, the big thriller plot and conspiracies and war and stuff like that still. And then the sequels are just like the inspiration for those are Star Wars movies. So it's kind of like it's just getting inspired by the other ones, and it's like, it's just Star Wars.
Yeah, when you're not adapting something from a different setting, you are basically just copying it. Like it's fine to adapt the samurai story to space because that's like super duper different. Even if the plot was exactly the same, it's not exactly the same because it's in space. But if you copy the space film and copy the plot in space, it's the same film.
Yeah, that's why you literally get the same film. It's like you find they do. Yeah, this is gonna get another Death Star and another Death Star.
But you know
and
what?
It just does the same thing.
You know what? Somehow the Emperor returned. That's all that matters. Somehow.
Yeah. I fucking hate that. Movies 4, 5, 6, they were the originals, weren't they? And then you had the prequels, that was 1, 2, 3. And then you had 7. Now, 7 was basically 4, wasn't it? It was basically the same movie, effectively.
Yeah, it was just 4, but in people enjoyed it because it was just more Star Wars, and we hadn't had a Star Wars movie for a long time.
Yeah.
So the 7 was just more Star Wars. So people.
But it was basically, it's like, they don't have a Death Star, they've got a Death Planet. It's even bigger. You see, it doesn't destroy one planet, it destroys a whole fucking bunch of them.
Yeah. After that movie got released, everybody was like, "Well, it's more Star Wars." I mean, like it was number 4. It was episode 4, but episode 4 was good. So.
The thing is, I'm not like a super hardcore star. I like Star Wars. I like the sounds. I like the sounds of blasters and shit. I like the lightsabers. It's all good, but I'm not like super invested in it or anything. So I watched like all of the films, and all of them I just came out going, "That was fine. It was Star Wars. That's fine."
Yeah,
you went to see Attack of the Clones and said it was fine.
Yeah,
Attack of the Clones is fine.
It's so boring.
It had blasters. It had lightsabers. It was.
Attack of the Clone is great. It's the start of the Clone Wars.
Yeah, just
all of them.
It's just a lot of talking in politics.
Everyone loves politics. This country's been fucking politics for the last
that's true.
10 years.
I think it's because episode 3 is just so batshit insane from beginning to end that like episodes 1 and 2 just you just forget so much happens in them, but it's just all talking.
Attack of the Clones is why my generation likes midriffs. God damn it! I get so upset.
Gets upset about midriffs.
Some water.
And yet no one likes mine.
Tell you what, the best scene in all of Star Wars, however, is the end of Rogue One, where Darth Vader just fucks up those rebels.
Just opens them up like a can of whoop-ass.
I just get chills watching that scene. The entire film itself is fine, but that scene is just so fucking badass. And then it cuts immediately to New Hope, and he just walks in like, "Where are those rebels?" If you watch it in order.
The lightsaber duels go from these fucking leaping off the walls and shit to going, Like,
it was so funny because I was watching a lot of the Matrix. I watched the Matrix maybe 50 times in a row or something like that, and then I watched episode 1, and I got a DVD and a poster signed by Ray Parks that played Darth Maul. And I was like, I'm gonna learn martial arts, so I went and got a black belt in a kung fu, and then I went to another kung fu school and I got another black belt. And then I went back and watched those things, and I was like, wow, these fight scenes aren't that good at all. First Matrix is shit. That's so bad martial arts that the Ping brothers, they're really not that great choreographers. Went back, checked the prequels, and I was like, wow, the lightsaber fights in this one, it really is flailing a bit, isn't it? Don't they? But they still look cool though. They look way better than the fights in the Matrix. Matrix is some rookie shit they're doing all the time.
Yeah, but the slow-mo, the camera angles.
Do his own lightsaber noise, during, because obviously they don't have lightsabers when they're filming. So Ewan McGregor was doing the lightsaber noise, and really
everybody does. Even in episode 8 that everybody hates, the general woman with the purple hair or whatever comes out of the fog and just goes and starts shooting. And they did so many takes, and she just couldn't stop saying pew, pew. So you can still like in the final shot, you can still see her.
Well, why wouldn't you? If I had a laser gun, I'd be doing exactly the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, you can shit on Star Wars all you want, but if there was a casting call and they're like, right, we need a stormtrooper who will be on screen for 0.5 seconds, I'm like,
I'm in.
Get me in.
I think I'm a little tall for a stormtrooper though.
Yeah. You'd make
you can only be
good
too
Wookiee.
short.
A Wookiee, yeah. I would be a good
You would.
But
I could do Wookiee.
best duel is Revenge of Sith. Can't argue.
I really like Revenge of Sith, not even from a like meme perspective. I really just like the fall of Anakin, where he is like, and Ewan McGregor is standing there like, you were like a brother to me, and kind of understanding that. Obviously, like it gets better as well when you like read the comics and gets more into it as well. Because there is like a reason why Padme, the old comics version of like why Padme dies, isn't because of broken heart or anything like that. It's because Anakin is so strong in the Force, because he's the chosen one, that Obi-Wan is like contemplating what he's becoming, because he's not really seeing when Anakin is using the Force and when the Force is just moving around Anakin. So things are just happening because Anakin believes it will happen. So he's just like becoming one with fate, basically, because the Force is a living thing in Star Wars. It controls destinies and everything. And it's really, really complicated, like what it can actually do. It's the entire like subplot
like
of
an orc from 40k then.
Well, orcs aren't even that strong, but like the subplot for Knights of the Old Republic 2 is basically that you don't have free will. The Force is doing everything. So he's becoming like a one with the Force, and it kind of like it's really scaring Obi-Wan. So when he turns to the dark side and he's becoming being like off balance, he's not that anymore. So it's basically like the worst 3 days of Anakin's life ever that episode 3 is happening around. So when Palpatine is like, "Nah, you killed Padme in your rage," he's like, "No," and the Force is like, "I guess he did."
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that makes things better.
No, it's like really cool
she died of sad.
Because sorry,
it's a better reasoning than she died of being sad.
But
yeah,
it's still like a better fall from grace, I think, and like a more tragic story of Anakin, because the entire like saga from 1 to 6 is just about the fall and redemption of Anakin, and like the entire tragic story of Anakin, really. And that's what it's about.
You could call it a complete story.
Okay, but does any bit of background explain why at the end of episode 4 Lando is wearing Han's clothes?
Yes. There is a story about that one.
You're shitting me.
No, there is a story. It's like what do you say in the end of episode 4? Is he?
Yeah, because
episode 5, right?
5.
In 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they have to flee. So they only have Hans's clothes in the Millennium Falcon.
Well, and he just had to get changed when he got on board.
He needed to change. I don't know.
He spilled soup on himself. What happened?
I don't know, but that's like the story. That's the reason for it.
I would just go
there was no other clothes on the
soupy clothes rather than wear the clothes of my friend who's been frozen. I mean, I know he's not wearing them at the moment, but
he has several sets of them.
Maybe she
apparently, like he has several similar outfits.
He opens his closet; it's just like the exact same thing every single.
I think that's like the reason, but like I think behind the scenes reason was that he came in like on a day where they weren't ready for him, and they started filming, and that was the clothes that were available. But they were like, well, he's on the Falcon anyway, and he had to flee. He didn't bring any other clothes, and there's like Wookiee hair on them or soup or whatever. Like
amazing.
I got a lint roller in space. Oh, God.
Apparently, you think you have to? I've got the rolls. My cat's very hairy. It's a very hairy cat, so we have those like sticky rolls that you can roll all over yourself to get all the fluff.
Those are kind of weird though, because like they add a little bit of glue as well, so you're just gonna have like more hair sticking to you next time. You need to get one of those like hair remover scrapers instead.
God, who has the time though, right? I mean, to some point, you just go, fuck it, I'm just going to be covered in white cat fur. It's fine. It doesn't really matter. Be all right.
That's a mood, honestly.
I think this is like an all-time record for like the biggest tangent. It's just Star Wars. It just pulls you in. You can't stop.
Yeah, I guess so. I can talk about Star Wars for so long.
Need some Star Wars.
I didn't realize you were a Star Wars nerd, Fred. Honestly,
I'm a nerd in anything. I would literally go on length on why like Frodo and Bilbo and all those turn invisible, but Sauron doesn't from the One Ring. Like explain to you really in depth why that happens.
You know what? I've never considered. I just thought because you kind of want to see the big scary man, right?
That'd be great. It's a real dramatic scene of him putting on the ring. Just
like if Gandalf put on the ring, he wouldn't turn invisible either.
Oh.
Does it have to be short people?
It's because are we really going to go into this one as well?
Do it, Fred.
Well, like Sauron and Gandalf are Maiars, right? So they're like the angels of their gods. They're immortal beings that only have a physical manifestation, but in truth, they are actually spirit beings. So Frodo doesn't turn invisible. He simply goes into the spirit realm. That's why everything is like underwater, and that's why he can see the ring wraiths like through face and stuff like that. Because the ring wraiths are also invisible underneath those heavy cloaks, basically. So they're also in the spirit realm.
Neat.
There we go. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I've watched Lord of the Rings exactly once. Yeah.
Yeah, same to be honest.
I think I'm just marginally too young.
I've always liked Lord of the Rings, but I've never really. Again, I'm just like a surface level. Like, oh, this is all cool. I like it. Like, and if someone's going, oh, I really want to talk to you about Lord of the Rings, I'm like, I'm down with that. That's absolutely fantastic. But
I mean, I'll talk about like all the fun stuff, like when the Valar sang the world together and created the world. Some stuff was just already there, and they didn't like create it. Like Tom Bombadil and what's
of course that fucker would be.
Oh, what's the spider's mom called? Like Ungoliant or something. And they were just like there. they like sang. Light came on. A world was there, and they're like, "Oh shit! Like, this is crazy."
Tom was like, "Well, I better start singing because I need to fill out at least 3 fucking chapters with my fucking."
Yeah, and he's like, "La-di-da, little river, you want to dance and sing a little bit?"
Fucking hate that guy. Isn't he supposed to be like an insert? Like a
it's basically self-inserts.
Yeah.
But it's fun because they have also like discussions about what they're gonna do about the ring, and they're like, maybe we can just give it to Tom though. Tom Bombadil can like keep the ring, and he would actually be able to like fend off the forces of Mordor and everyone. Like he would be able to.
How?
And they're like, well, he would probably just don't think about it too much and forget about the ring, and they would just take it. He wouldn't notice. And they're like, yeah, he probably would.
Fucking hate that guy. He's the worst.
You hate him? He's like the best. But I do understand why he's not in the movie version. I really like him. But like, you have to remember that when they're stuck in the barrels with the whites and stuff like that, where they actually find the swords in the book, that dude sings and dances through a mountain wall. Just to rescue them. Like, that dude is not really stoppable by mortal means.
Yeah, I think the reason I don't like him is because we had an audio book of the Lord of the Rings, which we used to listen to because back in the day before
to the songs.
Yeah, exactly. Before you had like tablets and phones and internet. When you went on long car journeys, you didn't have anything to do, so we had like a tape of the Lord of the. I say a tape. I mean, it was basically a book about this big with about 20 tapes from Lord of the Rings, and yeah, I used to fucking hate the tape where he did all his fucking singing.
Okay, that's understandable then. That's understandable.
God, I wish they did something with the Lord of the Rings games, the Shadow games.
Another really funny thing that I recently got to my attention is that everyone in the Council of Elrond kind of knows Bilbo when he's there, because like there's all the hobbits there as well. Because when he traveled through Mirkwood in the Hobbits, he probably like met Legolas because he like talked to his dad Thranduil, and then he like adventured with Gimli's dad Gloin, and he had already met Elrond, probably already met Aragorn as well when they were just traveling through Rivendell as well, and he kind of knew everybody. And then like Boromir is just sitting there like, who the hell is this old hobbit? Why is this short little dude sitting here? Like, what does he contribute? And everybody's just like, that's Bilbo. That's just Bilbo, yeah? Don't you know him?
Is that a fucking guy? What a guy. I mean...
No, it's my dad.
What did he actually do, though?
Bilbo?
Yeah.
I mean, he stole the ring.
Yeah.
That actually cracks me up, though, at the start of the... start of the first Fellowship movie, where they're just like... And then... There, it fell into the hands of the most unlikely creature. Another fucking hobbit.
That ring had a real a penchant, didn't it? Like, I like the little people, the little tubby people. I fucking love those guys.
So good. Another hobbit. Just really rare creatures. So it's like, yeah, another one just got down into the mountains.
Instead of like a goblin, who is, I'm assuming, like a creature of Sauron, so would be fairly easily contactable.
Hobbits, creature of Sauron?
No, goblins, because Gollum was like in the Goblin Mountains, wasn't he?
Yeah, the Misty Mountains.
Yeah, so like he surely just like the ring would slip off and like hop into a goblin, just pop onto one and be like, "Hey, take back Big Daddy, please."
Convenient for them, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Like with this, like just silly and weird stuff. I also played Red Alert 3 the other day with like Tim Curry and all those. Like it's aged really weirdly because it's like the cutscenes are so good, hands down. They're just like amazing. They're just so camp and they just lean into it. And Tim Curry is just amazing in like most things he does. And he but you have to have like a co-op partner for it. So if you don't have anyone to play with, the game sort of just gives you an AI that is useless. So in some maps you just get overwhelmed because your AI can't do anything. Cool game though, otherwise, I guess.
Oh yeah, Red Alert 3 is the one with Gemma Atkinson in it.
We've definitely said it before, but proper like acted cutscenes with real people.
Wait, it's Gemma Atkins the one that's like my chat started calling her Comrade Fetish Wear or something?
No, that was it Ivana Miliv? No, Gemma Atkinson. I just remember her because she used to be in a series called Hollyoaks, which is basically sexy teen soap, I guess, just full of sexy
I never
people.
got to the Allied. Whatever it was.
Yeah, so she plays one of the I think it's one of the first missions where she says the words that have stuck. It's like a core memory for me, where she goes, "The Soviets are attacking Brighton Beach." I laughed my ass off. Just having someone say that in a northern accent was like, that's amazing. But yeah, it's a really like J.K. Simmons is in it, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's such a great voice actor.
Yeah,
and actor in general, obviously.
Yeah.
You got George Takei's in it as well.
Oh my god, all star.
It's so many really good actors in it.
I would love if like Total War would just like introduce this randomly. It'd just be so goddamn funny.
I keep saying it. I would like to have Thanquol voiced by Matt Berry, but nobody tells him what a sick game sounds like. That'd be the most amazing thing ever.
I love Matt Berry.
Yes. Hey, two would like some warp snuff.
That would be. And Matt Berry is fucking immense, just in everything he does.
Every single thing he says makes me laugh. You must be the most devious bastard in New York City.
New York City.
Oh,
Regular human bartender, Jackie Daytona.
I fucking love what we do in the shadows. It's such a good program.
Yeah, it is.
I'll have to put that on I finished Lucifer, so I might have to put that on my next up.
It used to be like one of the most unique things on TV. It's just so good. I love Colin though. Colin is so funny.
Colin's
Like the standalone episodes with just Colin are my favorites by
So
far.
good. So good. Oh, have you heard of a series called Scavengers Reign?
No.
Okay, I'm going to wax lyrical about this. It's so fucking good. It's a cross between Studio Ghibli, RimWorld, and Alpha Centauri. Like, mash those things together. It's like an animated series. It's really fucking good.
What's it on?
Quite dodgy websites.
Oh, I've seen it. What do you mean dodgy websites? It's on HBO.
Oh, that one. See, I don't have HBO, so I'll watch it on slightly dodgy websites. But yeah, I binge watched it in about 2 days, just like annihilate. It's about 12 episodes. It's about this freighter that gets hit by a solar flare, and 5 people make it down to the planet, and it's set from the perspective of like three different perspectives. So you've got Sam and Ursula, who are Sam's the captain, Ursula's a botanist, so they land together. You've got Ozzy, who is she was like a warehouse worker, and Levi, who's like a robot. And then you have, and I can't remember what the fucking it is. Like he's not Kemmler, it's something else. It's something like Kemmler, and he lands and he meets an evil psychic space panda. And they kind of travel around together. And basically it's like them trying to get back to the crashed ship on this planet, which is really fucking weird. There's a lot of body horror stuff. Like, there's one scene where one of the characters like walks into a mushroom, and it goes very like she just starts spraying mushrooms all over her face. And...
Okay, should we just do like a sell on a weird show each?
Yes, that's mine.
Okay, mine will in that case be Baki the Grappler. It's on Netflix.
Baki the Grappler.
They say all art is inherently political because all artists and all creators have real life politics and are people. Baki the Grappler does not have that. Baki the Grappler is insane. It is about people who like to fight, and they are crazy. One of them shows that guns don't do anything, so he shoots himself in the face. Is he bulletproof? No, he goes to the hospital afterwards. This is the first season you can watch there. You don't need to watch the really old one from the 90s. Watch the other one. It is insane through and through. It is the trashiest thing, and it is super entertaining constantly.
What's it called? Baki the Grappler?
Baki the Grappler, yeah.
Baki the Grappler.
And then you have like Baki, son of the ogre, and stuff like that later on.
Oh shit.
But the first one, he's basically become one of the strongest young people in Japan. So just a bunch of criminals come in to fight him, and they are all of them completely insane.
Is this a bit like One Punch Man?
Well, not really, because everyone gets wounded quite a lot. There's no one who is straight away super OP, but they are all pretty OP. They're like, they're not really people in the end, I guess.
That sounds immense. I'm going to watch that.
I don't think I've watched anything that strange. I haven't watched anything that strange.
Come on, Landers. You must have watched something weird.
What are you watching then?
I've just finished Lucifer. I tried to start that Bodies thing on Netflix, but I don't really know what's happening yet.
What's that?
It's
just do an easy.
It's a series where it's a limited series, so just one season, which means that it doesn't get a second season, which is fine because I'm sick of watching shit like Mindhunter. Anyway, so basically, like across 4 periods of time, detectives find the same body in the same place in London.
Oh.
And like there's some sort of conspiracy about it, and now mild spoilers for like episode 2, like one of the characters from the future that's like 2050 something has now appeared in like the earliest one in like 1890. Like the same guy. Aside from the body, it's just like a human guy who's in a position of power in the future, so it's a bit suspicious about how he's done that.
Oh.
So I'll be curious to see. Although, if it just does
that
like
really mild spoilers is like the end of episode 2, just plot twist.
God,
sounds like.
I'll tell you something that I did watch that I got recommended to me because my mum was like, "Oh wow, the twist is insane. You never saw it coming." Either you two watch Behind Her Eyes on Netflix.
No.
Don't. That's what I'm going to say. Spoilers if you want to watch this. Can not recommend it because it's such bullshit. So, quick synopsis. Over the course of the series, this lady starts, she works with this guy and they start having an affair. They first sleep together and then she realizes he's married. Like, oh no, I can't. But, puts his charms on her. She's like, oh, okay then. And at the same time, she has like weird nightmares and then starts hanging out with his wife by like, also like sort of accident. Anyway, and she like tells her how to control her dreams and kind of like lucid dream. And in the end, this lucid dreaming is actually astral projecting. And the big the big twist at the end, if you want to watch it, plug your ears, is that so the lady was in the wife was in a mental hospital with this guy. And this guy really had a crush on her husband, the psychologist dude. So he's like, oh, let's astral project it. Goes into her body and then throws her in his body down the well. So the entire series, it's been this guy from the mental institution. And then the end of the series, he sets that in the... I know, follow me here. It's complicated as fuck. He starts burning the house down of the psychologist guys and locks himself in.
Oh, I was just thinking, like, we were supposed to recommend something. You're really bad at recommending
I fucking hate this thing. It pissed me off so much because the twist is such bullshit. It's such bullshit. I hate it.
More, damners. Less is more.
The fucking... No, he then jumps into her body and it's so fucking insane. And I was like, how dare you recommend this to me? This was so bullshit. It is technically a twist, but it would have been a twist if she turned it into a zebra. It doesn't mean it's good. The show fucking sucks. I hate it. Anyway,
but don't watch that one then.
Yeah, that's my recommendation. Don't watch that. Watch literally anything else. Watch Lucifer. It's hilarious. It's so cringe.
Lucifer is great.
I finished it. 8 out of 10 series. It's not like... I don't think it deserves 100%, but it's worth watching. It's so cringe.
So I've only watched up to, I think, season 3.
It's worth finishing.
Does it continue getting camper? Because it does...
It gets more stupid.
Yeah, well, it's fine for what it is, I think. I was playing Tiberian Sun 3 with that also has Trisha Helfer, like Lucifer's mom in it, like 15 years ago. And I was like, wow, she looks basically the same 15 years ago. That's crazy.
It's, God, yeah. Just like shit kept happening, and I was just like, where can it go from here? How can this be happening, and where can it go from here? And then it just kept going for 3 more seasons.
I mean, like Lost, the old TV show was supposed to be 3 seasons, but then it became such a big hit in the first one that they were like 7 seasons then. So they were like, okay, what's this? Like, made the plot span 7 seasons instead of 3. Because I remember, like, even when I was like 12 or something like that, I was like, that's bullshit. So he just hammered on this hatch for like a whole entire season. Just blew up dynamite on it. He just hammered on it every single day, like an entire season. And then that season ended with like a dude inside the hatch is being in a bunker's like, somebody's knocking.
Somebody there.
It's like, what the hell?
No. Did they try the doorbell? That's the question.
Yeah, no, it's just. I remember even back in those years, I was like, yeah, they don't know where they're taking this.
There definitely is a place for stupid television. It's just
Absolutely.
It's just like the good thing about I didn't really need to pay attention to it because it was like it doesn't really matter what's going on. Like every episode's more or less the same, but the overarching plot is like the only thing that I cared about. But it ends so spectacularly.
I watched the Doctor Who special that came out the other day, and it's janky as shit, but I fucking love it.
I haven't watched it at the Doctor Who since David Tennant. And
he's got David Tennant in. He's back.
I know.
He's back as the Doctor, and he's really good. And it makes me feel bad that I didn't like Peter Capaldi or what's her name? Something Whittaker, Jodie Whittaker. I wanted to like them, but they just not very good. And then David Tennant comes back, and you're just like, he's fucking Doctor Who. I'm sorry. It's just.
I had like the flu 10 years ago, and I was like, I'm gonna have to see if I can find a new TV show to just binge. So I had the choice between like Doctor Who and Supernatural, and I chose wrong and took Supernatural. So I never watched Doctor Who at all.
My girlfriend used to love Doctor Who when she first moved to the UK. And then we tried watching it on I think it came onto Netflix or something, and I was watching an episode. I was like, wow, this is just like the production quality is so garbage because it's like early 2000s BBC. There's just no budget.
It's the latest one has got these aliens called, I think it's called the Wrath or something, and they genuinely look like a guy in a suit. And when they finally talk, they sound super posh, and I was like, I love it.
The Wrath.
It's shit, but I love it.
Wrath Warriors.
Wrath Warriors, that's it. They look like weird bug-eye guys.
They look sick.
But they look like something you would have seen in like one of the first XComs. Just that sort of 90s sci-fi type thing. And I just kind of love it. I just kind of liked it. I'm down with it. I'm down with the jank. I like a bit of jank.
Exactly. Everyone loves cringe.
A good game, actually to bring us back to games, a good game that's coming out tomorrow that I tried today was Last Train Home. Have you guys checked that one out?
No, but
listen to the song.
I think that's going to be like a very positively reviewed game when it comes out tomorrow. It's my best because it is basically the Great War is over and you're just trying to be like these Czechoslovakian soldiers trying to get through Russia on a train, and it's the last train home, and it's based on a real story.
The name of the game.
Yeah, and it's basically Frostpunk meets Company of Heroes in fights.
My ears pricked up. I'm listening.
I think that one is gonna do pretty goddamn well.
I think I actually got an email and they were like, "Would you like to play this game?" And I was like, "Yes," and then they just didn't reply to me.
But I think that's going to be pretty positive reviewed. So then the voice actors apparently in Slovak or whatever it's called, Slovakian and Czech are apparently really good as well because they speak like all the languages they're supposed to do, which is cool. If you play it on immersive mode, you can also have it in English. But I refused.
Did that for Iron Harvest. I think like you could have the native language voice acting, and it was way better. Even though I don't speak a word of any other language. Yeah, I'll have to give that one a look. Because it sounds very similar in saying to Iron Harvest, apart from, no mechs. Just a bit more realistic, which is fine.
It's really, really cool because you have to survive on the train as well. And you have to upgrade and get people get unhappy and you get events and things like that. It's very, very Frostpunkish when you're just traveling on the train.
I'm excited for Frostpunk 2, if it ever.
Then you have to have fuel for the train and go and scavenge and send out search parties and things like that. It was really cool. I really like that one.
That does sound good.
I've been replaying Dredge because I got the DLC for my birthday.
Wait, it's got DLC.
Pale Reach, baby. I don't think it's that expensive either. But God, that game, that's my every single time that comes up in a Game of the Year nomination list on Steam or on the Game Awards, I just vote for it because it's got a great soundtrack. It looks great. It runs great and everything. It's perfect for the Steam Deck. The gameplay is just so relaxing, but also a little bit stressful, but the right amount of stressful.
Yeah, I didn't know I needed a game about fishing with Lovecraftian horror in it in my life. I
always love fishing in games, and then you just sprinkle a bit of spook in there. I'm sold.
I completely missed Dredge when it came out, and I haven't played it since because everybody's like, "Yeah, it's a great game, really bad for streaming." So
there's not much to talk about.
Business expense.
No, I guess not. I don't know. It's like, I guess if you want to do a nice little chill stream, and it's just, I don't know. It's very. I think that the. How to say this? I liked the first half. I think it dropped off towards the second half. And also the twist was, well, you got the different areas. So the first area is pretty good. The second area is the crumbling cliffs bit, which is great. And then you go to the third area, which is the tropical thing, which is quite good. And then you go to the Bernie place, and I didn't like that as much. No, you go to the swamp, don't you?
Yeah, me and my friends have been playing this because he just bought it, and we were both saying that the Bernie volcano place is just the most AIDS place to be because it's difficult to navigate. There's loads of danger everywhere.
and it's just not that. It's just not. It's not as fun. And then I found that bit was just a bit of a chore, which compared to the rest of the game was really good. Like I was fully on board with it.
On board, nice.
Yeah, yeah. There's like so many little like bits and pieces like scattered around that you can just sort of play around with. But I did see the twist coming like a fucking mile. Like that wasn't
okay. Well, before you guys do the spoiler, because I'm gonna play it at some point.
Definitely.
I'm gonna ask you guys. Do you guys play Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous? Did you check out the new DLC?
No. Is Pathfinder the same thing as the Rogue Trader?
It's Owlcats making it, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't, no. Was it good?
It was pretty nice. I was like, why do I need another DLC with more archetypes? Because there's only like 500, and I tried the weird werewolf dude, and I was like, this is pretty badass. I want to be a werewolf or a weird tiger now. That's what I'm gonna do and play through it yet again.
I think deep down we're all kind of a little bit furry, aren't we?
Well, I don't know if werewolves are being furry. I think that's all right. Yeah, I'm just gonna not touch that one. It's fine.
I'm sorry, Fred. It's super fucking furry.
You think about it, werewolf is like the true 50%, like true neutral of being a furry. It's like you're not, and then all of a sudden you are.
When I played Baldur's Gate 2 first time,
I've ruined this for him now.
I was like, oh shit! There's one class that can become a werewolf, and that was just badass. I did a monk though. I played a monk, but the second playthrough was a werewolf, and I always remember that fondly, playing as a werewolf. And then in Pillars of Eternity as well, I had really good. Well, I was a werebear there. Because that was pretty good.
Nothing wrong with being a werebear, Fred. Just step into your fursona.
Look, I'm gonna say this: you can't mock people for being furries because they are better people than most people. Okay, I'm not a furry, but I wouldn't dare to because some people are like, I can't wear a mask; it's suffocating me. Those bastards are standing there like 50-degree Arizona heat in a complete fursuits that cost like $15,000. Doing some weird ass TikTok dance for like 2 hours, and then they just remove it. And it's like, oh, I'll just have a glug of water, and it's like complete Superman. All of them, just I mean, those things are just expensive. They're apparently fiscally responsible as well. That's all I'm saying.
You seem very invested, Fred. I've learned so many things about you during this episode.
Yep. And if you know anything about me, you would know that I cannot afford a fursuit. Like I can't be a furry because I'm not physically responsible enough to be a one.
He just pulls down his green screen. No. He's just like a night hawk.
Yeah, it's just
suits
just fursuits here. So like
Monday, Tuesday.
This is Shadow Tail.
Oh, so badass. I feel like that's just the final form of people that play RPGs, isn't it? Take the role-playing game to real life.
You're making so many enemies this episode, damn. It's amazing. You're like, yeah, Star Wars is cringe, and
I'm not saying that I don't like the cringe.
RPG players are you all just targets of furries?
It's just the ultimate role-playing game. You know,
being in another man's skin, that's the ultimate role-playing.
Oh Lord, and with that,
pretending to be somebody else. That's how you get it.
Well, not bombshell. It's time to let Fred go to bed.
I was trying to do like a It's Always Sunny reference, but I realized that not a lot of people would understand that one.
Yeah, I've never watched that.
I have watched it. I didn't understand what you were trying to say.
Yeah, it's like Brian Lefebvre episode.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's trying to like, this is how you get off. It's really weirdly. It's like being in another man's skin. I'll show you. And they're like, what? And it's just, it's a good episode anyway. There's also
on my list of things to watch.
The game also got released. The new Like a Dragon, which is what they now call the Yakuza series, got released. And, it's pretty nice. I played it for like 2 hours. I actually controlled the character for like 20 minutes.
It's pretty good for an RPG game.
I mean, it's one of those like games where it's like, I don't know if I want to watch something or play a video game, so I'm just gonna play that. But then later on, obviously, you have like so much stuff because they have such good crime drama in it. Like it's well written. It's like well acted for them. And then it's like, now I'm just gonna like search for a mahjong den. I'm gonna sit play mahjong for 2 hours, or like find RC car parts, and just like be the champion RC racer, like have a little like a little bar and stuff like that. You just do so much stuff in it. There's mini games upon mini games in that one, and crime drama. They're pretty cool.
It's one of those games I've never played, and yet I keep seeing videos about it and thinking, that looks really interesting, but I don't know if it's for me.
Dude, it is so weird, and so you should like pick up Yakuza 0 or something and check it out. And then after you find the RC car, you're just like, oh, look, a gang of thugs coming at me. I'm gonna stand near the bike so I can thrash them with this bike because it's faster. And then you thrash them with the bike.
I'll do it.
Good times.
Are we done?
Yep. I think that's all the games.
That's it. Done.
Fred brought us back to games in the end. What
Yeah.
a hero.
And I can sign us off as well. Should I do this?
Oh yeah.
Or do you guys want to do it this time? Okay.
You go wrong.
We've learned a lot today.
Yeah.
We have learned to never ask Damneders for recommendations because he will tell you major plot points and tell you stuff he didn't like.
Fucking car crash.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute car crash. This was devastating, but I enjoyed my time. I hope you guys did as well. This is us signing off. Urge Fred. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye. God, that was unbearable.